Hi, Debbie. It's lovely to catch up with you again. How are you?
I'm good, and you? It's been too long, Elmarie. The last time we did this, we were sitting on a couch before lockdown.
That's true. That's true. But I'm very excited to talk to you today about the ESD Awards. For me, what I love about the ESD Awards is that it is actually recognizing, the practitioners that are doing the right things in enterprise and supply development that has a real impact. And as you know, that's something that the Clinic with Purpose is also incredibly passionate about. So, Debs, I think what I wanted to do is, why don't we start off with just why ESD Practitioner Awards? Why focus on the practitioner?
Where did it come from? So, Elmarie, obviously, the Enterprise Supply Development Expo has always been linked to the Procurement Conference. And over the years, we've considered, should we get more involved in a sort of procurement awards? But I think there are platforms for that currently, and that's always something to explore. But where we were seeing so many stories and unrecognized stories is that of the ESD practitioner. And if you think about it, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I think it was a very rare person. Who is this ESD practitioner? And suddenly that practitioner is a procurement person. It's not a CSI. It's it's not just an enterprise development. It's this role of being a buyer, but now I'm supporting small business. And it basically, due to the codes and due to just seeing best practice of integrated supply chains, created this new professional that is navigating a very difficult world because they're not necessarily hugely supported in their organization, or they are taking on this supply development ED role while they are still trying to manage the purchasing and procurement strategy for a large organization. And we've just seen so many iterations, but yet there are these stars that have impacted small business in such a meaningful way that it was important to recognize them, and also to help newcomers into the space understand how they can be best at it.
Thanks, Debbie. And I was a judge on at the ESD Awards, the first one last year. And what was really striking for me was that the nominees and the finalists were all nominated by small businesses because of the impact that they had. And I think what gets lost a lot of times is the understanding that a small business is run by one person. And all the trials and tribulations that this business owner is going through, he has to carry himself. The buck stops with him. So I think, why don't you just share with us, some of the finalists or some of the winners that we had last year, and the stories that the small businesses told, why it made an impact and why it made a difference to their businesses.
Yeah, wonderful. So I think that was a bit of an aha moment. We went out for call for entries. We went to our practitioners and said, nominate yourself, nominate someone. And that honestly was slow going. But when we extended the call for nominations to our very extensive SMME and small business database, and ones that have been attending Smart Procurement World for years, then the nominations came in, and then the stories came in. And that was, maybe it's because ESD practitioners are more humble, I'm not entirely sure. But the stories that came out, I think specifically it was a lady in one of the municipalities in the Northern Cape. No, Oudtshoorn. So I think that is Northern Cape. No, West. I'm giving away my lack of geography knowledge here. And the nomination of this procurement person, they don't even have the job title of anything to do with ESD, was how they went on the weekends to help the small business deliver on a landscaping project and to make sure that this woman-owned business did well. And that's above and beyond. I think too often we see programs that are very distant from the SME or individual on the program. They're just being put through training. We know that there's a sense of training fatigue for small businesses. And in fact, I think often they take and they go on all these programs, they attend all this training because they're too scared that they might lose out on a procurement opportunity. And often, more than often, the program doesn't link back into the supply chain, which we know can be very frustrating. But to see these sort of hand-holding, very bespoke understanding of an SME, that was one particular story that I found very encouraging.
Yeah, I remember, one of the things that really stood out to me was, I think it was on one of the mines, where the ESD practitioner there, identified specific needs in the organization. And a lot of it had to do with the operational readiness. And he actually found, support and professionals and consultants to come in and help this business to become more, more efficient. So I think it is that understanding of, that a small business has got specific needs, and it isn't just a one size fits all.
It's also, on that note, Elmarie, the difficult part of that is that for an ESD practitioner or anyone driving small business procurement within their organization has to deal with the business owners and the business managers who are saying, why must I use this unknown entity? I have no idea. They're not as good as the company I've been using for 30 or 40 years. I remember a conversation in the mining sector a couple of years ago where the head of procurement had this particular argument, and he said, okay, I'm going to prove it. And it was something very scientific. I won't even try and remember what kind of qualifications these small business had. And in fact, the small business was better qualified and compliant and had better systems in place to do the job. And only after going through, but he had to invest time and effort in order to prove that to the organization and to the business managers of that particular mining house. And yes, as a result, they onboarded this business and they did very well, but it's not a simple process.
You're absolutely right. And I think a lot of times, there's this expectation that because it's a small business, they won't get it. And if we've seen anything, in the uncertainty over the last few months, is it's actually small businesses that are so much more agile, that can, are actually really geared towards changing and updating and moving very quickly. And I think that's something maybe that we should really celebrate and say that just because you're a small business actually isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you can change and adapt to what it is that the organizations are looking for.
You can absolutely be more flexible. Yeah. But just going back to the ESD intent and the practitioner awards, it's not an easy journey. And we've been involved in this quite actively for 8-9 years. I think even yourself a lot longer. And it still feels like there's a way to go. So I do hope that through the nature of the awards and sharing these success stories and what can come out of them, that more procurement and supply chain professionals can feel confident in their ESD activities.
Debbie, can you just maybe just remind us of the categories that you have in the ESD awards? Do you have that to hand?
You're testing me. You're testing me. Well, we went with a very, if I can say, kind of fun theme. And it's all about being the hero to small business and flying the flag for them. And on the first set of nominations that we had, we actually landed up in creating an extra, you would know as a judge, 1 or 2 extra categories, because we found there was just more to acknowledge. So we have, for instance, the guiding guru. So that's really about helping a small business know how to navigate within a big corporate, around the supplier relationship management issues. We also have the network ninja. So that's when a practitioner takes it upon themselves to help that small business extend past the corporate that they work for, and look at opportunities across the sector. And I think for me, I'm very passionate about that, because it means that you are building this small business to be able and to be corporate ready within an industry. So not just for one mine, why can't they support other mines? And that does take effort and time, because we know collaboration and communication doesn't just happen automatically. And we have a wonderful lady, Janine Zacco, who was nominated and won that one. And I've since then professionally stayed in touch, and she's very passionate about just taking the small business into all different networks. One that is very interesting is the red tape warrior, because a corporate has red tape to protect its supply chain and to minimize risk. And I think it can be very overwhelming for a small business, and inadvertently they don't know what they don't know, and they might stumble over that kind of red tape. So to take the time to help them navigate it without costing them an arm and a leg. I'm not sure if that's the right way to put it. There's the small business champion. And, I've seen individuals who get very involved in that, they're supply chain people, but they get very involved in small business development, supporting many bodies and initiatives, not just for their organization, and finding ways where they can sort of remodel how to integrate small business into supply chain. I'm cheating, so I'm going to look at this one. There's obviously the hero, and we spoke a little bit about that one with the lady who literally went and took her weekends, which I just love that story. And the new category that we came up with last year was the trailblazer. And, there are ones that we've been working with and seen that have started in the organization to even demystify what enterprise supply development is, and come up with a lot of resistance, because maybe at that stage the company doesn't see that it's going to stop their means to business. It's almost a nice to have. It's not a nice to have. No one can move forward in their organization in this day and age without considering supply development. And it's taken these individuals 5 years, some of them, I would say even longer. So that's also something where we need to acknowledge the years of just chipping away, and then suddenly the light goes on for their company and where they're trying to get support.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Debbie. I'm really passionate about recognizing the practitioners that is looking to do things differently with more impact. So I'm really looking forward to this year's nominations as well. I think, it's going to be great, especially because it has been a challenging year, and I know for a fact that there are many, many ESD practitioners out there that has gone beyond duty to try and help small businesses stay in business, get them paid on time, keeping them in business, helping them to pivot, moving in a new direction. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're getting this year.
Yes, I think we're going to have some very heartwarming stories and nominations that will come through this year. So I cannot wait to start receiving them.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Debbie, and we will catch up soon.
And yeah, thanks so much.